we are back. Welcome to episode 8 of 4NZ Gamers. My name's Phil Brooks. Today I'm joined by James Jennings,
Hey.
Dave Watson,
Hey.
and Lance Lochner.
Oh, yeah.
So this week we're going to be doing a section where we're going to do a bunch of different topics and chuck them up online. So you'll find those on YouTube, on our channel. You'll also find them on Facebook when we chuck them up there, and there'll be links to Twitter as well. So be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and do all those amazing things if you want to get all the content. Otherwise, let's kick into it. Alright, welcome back. With the power of video editing, we're able to
Video magic.
Yeah, move through time and space. We've now got coffees, and we're perked up and alive, ready to go, round 4. So my topic is, it's an interesting one. It's quite dear to my heart because I've experienced this all my life. And I usually get asked the question, why do I play video games? And it's a very weird question. I don't really understand why you would ask somebody that question unless, because I wouldn't ask you why you go to the theatre. I would know that you enjoy going to the theatre. It's something you like stories and you like experiences and you like entertainment, and that's how you go and get it. And I would have assumed that people would understand that that's why I play video games. Like, I shouldn't have to spell out that answer. So the thing that gets me is I then read into that question and I think, you've got a prejudice. You're asking me, why do I play video games? Because you actually don't understand, or you are looking down on me because I play video games and you just don't understand it.
Yeah. Otherwise you wouldn't ask, really.
Otherwise you wouldn't really ask. And so it's quite derogatory. And I just don't really understand why gaming generates such vitriol from general people who just do not actually know. Like, they're not in that world, but they have a judgment on that world. And it's quite interesting because I knew I was going to talk about this topic today. I'll just tell you a quick story. Last night I was at a dinner party and we were all sitting around the table having conversation, and we were talking about all sorts of things. Even to the point where we were talking about some really crass jokes that I won't even repeat because they're so bad. But within general conversation on this table, it was all accepted. Girls and guys alike were laughing and talking and chatting. And we would talk as a group or we'd talk individually, and no one seemed to care. Anyway, got to an individual conversation that I started having with somebody behind me who wasn't even in our group, and we were talking about games. The guy next to me, who I'd only just met that night, sort of perked up as he sort of turned and realised, Fallout 4. And you should have seen his eyes light up, the genuine excitement on this guy's face that we were talking about video games. And then boom, so the 3 of us are now talking about it. We then look over and his girlfriend on the other side of the table is glaring at him. I'm giving him the ice eyes. And there was another girl next to her who didn't even know this guy, had only met him that night, and she was also glaring at all of us. And they were sort of, shaking their heads. And then he ended up sort of apologising to his girlfriend for having just spoken about video games. And it just became really awkward. And it made me think about all the conversations we'd had during the night, all of the private conversations that were happening that nobody else looked at and went, you're talking about ballet? Or, no one did that at any other point. But when gaming got brought up, my God.
The stigma in it?
It was like a taboo subject that should not have been spoken about at the dinner table. And we all felt really bad for having done it. And so that just ties in perfectly with my topic today, because I'm thinking, what is the problem with gaming? So, have you guys had experiences like that?
A little bit. I don't know. I feel like I'm fine enough with myself to be able to do that. But I know what you mean in terms of being very topical. I've got this. I have a feeling that because I think gaming gets this idea that it's unsocial, so not everybody can talk about it. So I get the feeling that there's a lot of people who either still don't know about gaming, that don't want to talk about it because they don't know anything about it.
Right.
So, for example, if we were at a dinner table and only you and I were gamers, and we completely ignored Dave and Lance because they know
nothing about
it, or they just have different interests, that's per normal. I feel like gaming has that slot of not a lot of people know about it.
Yeah.
But I think it's getting to that point where they do. Gaming is in our pop culture, whether you like it or not. And it's been for a long time. And it's only getting mainstream. It's making a lot more money than movies are. And everybody knows what a PlayStation or knows what a gaming console is.
Exactly.
They know what we were saying. They know who Lara Croft is, Tomb Raider, Pac-Man, and if they don't, that's just personal interests and things for them. But I don't know. I feel like I still get looked at as a nerd. But I don't know. I think there's that kind of idea that a nerd should be overweight with glasses and very unsociable, and they're always holding a mouse no matter what, and they're always talking about, hey, what do you think about World of Warcraft and those raids last night? Like, I think there still has that bit of stigma of it's not cool. But I can understand maybe the ice eyes from some people, because I don't know, if I'm playing a game or something, I know that with my girlfriend, it does. She understands, and it's something that I enjoy, but it does get annoying if I choose to play a console game over doing the dishes, kind of thing. So in terms of or ignoring her or something like that, but I don't know. I've kind of embraced it as a kind of like who I am-ish kind of thing. It's of many of my different interests.
I think the thing I find interesting about it is, or the question I'd like to ask, is because I don't think it should be a question about why do we play video games. It should be a question about why don't you. Seriously, it's another form of entertainment that you are literally missing out on. One of the largest selling pieces of entertainment across any sort of entertainment in 2013 was Grand Theft Auto. Sold like 17 billion units worldwide. It was massive. Million? Sorry, when I say billion, 17.
That's a lot of games.
And take my word for it, 17 million units or something like that worldwide. And it's just like, I mean, it's bigger than the Avengers, you know? And I just don't understand why you would block out such an amazing other form of entertainment. It's just, you know, you've got your books, you've got your theatre, you've got your movies, you've got your TV series. There's all these things you can do. Why?
It's another...
It's just another outlet or another avenue to get your entertainment. Why do you put blinders onto it?
I think that it really depends on the age group of the people that are having the discrimination.
Yeah.
Because I think there's the stigma with younger people that we spend our whole lives on a game or behind a game, but that's not true. And there's a little bit of the history about, you know, geeks and nerds, like you were saying, and stuff like that. So I think it's a misconception about what gamers are. I think if you were to ask my mum, she would think, I play games sometimes. But then there's a different age group where the younger generation, all they're doing is spending their time in the games. And so you're getting gamers having a bad rep based on the fact of how gaming is put out there into the world. You know, there's this big thing now, you know, people spend too much time behind the screen on a game 24/7, and they're not living the lives in the world that we live in. So I guess it's getting that image across about having balance and stuff, and I think you can have balance and be a gamer and do other things as well.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just about, you know, gamers are nerds, all they do is spend all their time behind a screen.
So you're saying the misconception of
what is
like,
reality?
No, of gaming. So, like, for example, like I do enjoy to play like playing games, but I also read books. I go out to theatre. I also go to the gym.
Yeah.
Are you saying that? Oh, you're a gamer, so that must be all you do.
So when you say you're a gamer, people automatically think, shit, you spend all your time behind a game.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's all he does. He's socially awkward.
Right.
He can't.
So
talk
they've
to me.
taken this social awareness that has been projected to them through the media, and every gamer is a nerd. Every gamer spends 100% of their time behind an Xbox.
Yeah.
Which is not true. It's like, I love movies. I don't spend all my time 100% of the time at the movies. I have a balance for that between everything else.
But there are people that will sit there and binge watch a TV series and then go and tell their friends about how they just watched all of, you know, Game of Thrones or something.
Yeah.
And they don't get ridiculed or criticised for that, and they don't get people shaking their heads and like, you spend all your time doing that. Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
You know?
and then they'll go on to bad gamers in the same conversation.
And I think the misconception about gaming is that all games are the same, is that you sit there in your room for hours upon hours upon hours playing this game. There are games that can be beaten in less time than it takes to watch a movie. And you can get a nice beginning, middle, and end story that that takes you on a journey and it's done in 2 hours.
I guess the thing is though,
That's an option.
but, when you're watching a TV series, when the wife calls you to help with the dishes, you can pause it. Now with all games, usually gamers have a good excuse, and now I'm defending the other side now. Is that most of them, I'm going to finish the stage, I can't, the old...
Or if you're playing...
I'm in something, leave me alone, I can't just...
pause online.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you're playing
God damn it.
online, you can't pause
So you
it.
start forming this sort of understanding with your partner or whoever that I can't go when you ask me, it's just games need to be finished. Don't disturb me, But with the movie, you can pause, you can, provide it on that format. With gamers, when you call them to do anything, I've got to finish this.
But usually you've got to finish
and
it.
because you're so immersed in it, you've got something else sort of brings you along. So you have that sort of stigma there as well that you really can't put it down.
Yeah.
But actually, it's not true. You can get to a certain point.
Yeah, with most games you can pause it. Yeah. It's just when you're playing online, you usually have to finish the level. But most online matches would last 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's not a huge deal, really. I mean, 5 more minutes, baby, is all it really takes.
In saying that though, because I feel the gaming stigma gets I think PC guys get a lot of flack for the typical nerdy gamer. Do you feel that? Because you guys predominantly PC gamers.
Yeah.
I feel like consoles are getting, because they're
consoles are
mainstream and they're cooler and stuff. Not just consoles, gaming in general is starting to I think get more accepted. But I feel like I feel like PC guys get a lot more flack with that. Like games like Elder Scrolls, World of Warcraft, things like that we were just talking about before. People dying over that stuff.
I think there's something about the whole hunched over computer with your mouse and your keyboard that sort of, there's this image there, whereas console gaming is a bit more relaxed, sort of sit there in your couch in your living room. It's more like it's TV rather than computer. I think it's just got a different stigma to it because of that, like the way you visualize somebody playing each thing.
Yeah, well, it's also a misinformation too, because I could quite easily get my computer and hook it up to my TV and play on the couch.
Yeah, totes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just said totes.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of misconception with PC gaming as well, and
it's an old misconception.
Spreading crap stereotypes that usually are just not true at all.
Yeah.
And,
because I know with my partner, we've had these similar conversations, and she's understanding it more, that it's more of a different kind of media, that she really enjoys the Uncharted series or Last of Us because it actually has a story to run with. And she's starting to understand it more, especially doing things like this as well, that she kind of gets more of an insight. So I think just with just the general change of consoles or gaming in general being accepted into the living room, and it almost being a normal thing, I think eventually it will change. It's still a bit there, but I guess it depends on your social groups as well.
I mean,
I don't know. I work in the industry, so it's very normal.
Oh, you're
like
totally
everybody
surrounded by it,
is just around it all the time. But I do feel I still do feel like it's not a topic that I just bring up with strangers or. But I have brought it up in terms of I have been in a situation where it's been awkward as hell, not knowing anyone at the table. And then just being like, so you guys played the latest Call of Duty? And everybody's like, blah, 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 blah. I shot this guy, did a triple spin in the air and got him a headshot. And then all those different stories comes out.
Yeah.
But it's done the reverse as well. I've brought it up and people are just giving you the eye stare. And I'll just talk about something else. But I feel like what you were saying, Lance, before about having that good balance. I feel like I have that balance and I feel like I know when is a good time to talk about it, not. Or I feel like I'm stable and balanced enough in my life that I can either talk about gaming or not, or if it happens to come up, I'll talk about it, and if it not, we'll run with something else.
Yeah, totally.
I don't. Do you guys feel like that?
Yeah, my partner's very accepting of my gaming, and I feel like I'm similar to you in that respect. Like I can sort of talk about it or not talk about it, and like we were at that dinner party the other night, we were talking about all sorts of things, and then gaming came up and we sort of went there and then realised we shouldn't and then quickly went back somewhere else, so I was like, we just sort of rolled with the punches. But
I've had one of the managers is where I work, he's just not into gaming. It's just not his thing. He's a lot older than I am, but he asked me as well, he's like, why do you play games? They are such a waste of time. Like,
But-
why would you be gaming when you could be working, earning more money,
Outside in the sun.
honing your craft,
Yeah.
being outside, like all that stuff, which are good points. But it, like you were saying, it's just like watching a movie. It's another form of entertainment.
Yeah.
It's what you enjoy.
It's what I enjoy. And I've brought it up in podcasts before, or even in that Metal Gear Let's Play I did earlier. It's an interactive movie or an experience for me. So I'm kind of sick of watching a play or theatre show or watching TV, a film. The gaming experience gives me the chance to actually enter in that world and make the choices myself.
Yeah.
Which is, I would say, would probably be the core reason why I enjoy gaming.
I enjoy it above all other forms of entertainment for that reason alone. I want to be that character and in that world and get lost in that world and have my decisions and choices matter.
I think gaming's come a long way as well. I mean, recently we watched a TED talk where they had a game help as a therapy. For people who had some sort of brain injury, helping them to rehabilitate by being a character, and so games are a lot more evolved now and on different levels, and you know the amount of brain that you have to interact with the game.
Yeah, totally.
The amount of brain works that you have to use. It's just
because they were using it for brain repair.
we're
right?
not,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about games, we're not talking about Pac-Man. Pac-Man's probably this and that, but
I understand why people don't, because of these misconceptions we brought up, right? I understand why people don't like it, and I think they just need to get over the fact that their misconception or preconception is wrong. Not all games are 200-hour Witcher experiences that have us locked in our rooms day and night for a week, or longer. And I think you just need to realize that there are many different genres and styles of games, and they are accessible, and you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. The one game you saw your little cousin playing that you've gone, what the fuck is that? Like if you sit down and play The Last of Us and have an immersive experience with a real story, a real compelling emotional story, it'll change your mind. And you play games in every other form, right? I'm sure you play card games, and I'm sure you play games on your phone, and I'm sure you play Monopoly, and you
Facebook's a game, isn't it?
yeah, all these different games that you play. So you can't tell me you don't like games. This is just another one of those, but it's sort of wrapped in a movie and tied in with a book and all these things that are all as one. About the only thing I would ever let anyone off is I totally understand the barrier of entry with a control pad, because not everyone is going to be able to pick up a control pad right away and be a gaming guru. It does take a little bit of time, I get that. But, I mean,
But you don't even need to use a control pad. When you look at the Wii, what it's done to...
Well, exactly, there are other ways in. But it's just one of those things you have to learn. It's like the greatest book in the world was written in Japanese, and you don't speak Japanese, so you're going to miss out on that experience because you speak English. But if you learn Japanese, if you take the time, then you can read that book and you can have that experience, and you'll know it too. And it's the same with the control pad. You just need to take your time to learn a new skill, and then you're in. And it doesn't take that long. And there are games that you could play that would start you off at the real basic level. Just press A. Play like one of the Walking Dead series. Which is literally like binge watching your bloody Walking Dead TV series anyway, but it's a game version. And you move your character just through a little world, and you're pressing A to do this or B to do that, and it's simple. And you work your way up from there to becoming Call of Duty Master of the Universe. I don't know.
It's true.
Don't judge it without playing it.
play
And
Lord
don't
of-
judge us for playing it either. There's very good reasons why we play these games, and they're not as antisocial as you think. There's a huge social network out there of people that play games and co-op games and online gaming. So we may look like
it's only getting bigger, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's the,
And there's so many different games. These games pass your imagination. I mean, Goat Simulator.
Yeah.
If you want to be a goat,
You can be a goat.
Be a goat. So if you're that
can be a
person
goat, oh my God.
who loves
We
goats,
just won over like a whole bunch of people. A goat?
you didn't
Sold.
So
you didn't think there was a goat game. There is, and
Rock Simulator.
you can play a
There's a rock
game.
simulator.
there is.
There is a rock simulator.
do you just sit there?
You can pick a rock. You can sit. You can roll down a hill. You can.
Oh, this is brilliant.
And now you want to play the game because you liked goats. And
exactly.
and now you're probably thinking, shit, goats. What games have come a long way. You can be a goat now, and yes, there is. You can fly a plane. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, like Flight Simulator. Crikey! I mean, how many people get the opportunity to sit in the cockpit and fly around? You know, like.
Yeah. So I mean, and I think that's part of the misunderstanding is people don't know. They just have this. You know, you play Space Invaders. You know.
It's very narrow-minded
Yeah.
view.
Like there's a whole world out there that.
Yeah, it would be like me watching Sharknado and then swearing off of movies. I'm never going to watch another movie if that's what movies are like, you know? And then, how stupid a comment to make.
Yeah.
Yeah, but people do that.
Oh yes, you're gonna have those. You're gonna have those different. People are gonna have different interests. It's just.
Oh yeah,
how it is.
totally. If you don't dig games at all, like it's actually not an interest, then please, of course, don't play video games. But don't swear off of a form of entertainment just because you don't quite get it, or you saw one genre, one little thing of it, and then judged all games on that one thing.
I think it might also, just thinking about this, I think it might be the part of, in society, especially European societies, as you get older, you are supposed to live up to being an adult. And I think a lot of people have lost the fact of how to have fun, and I think they need to come back to their childhood and think about the connection that most of us have with games.
When you're a kid, using your imagination, playing hide and go seek, and
exactly.
Tiggy,
and I think
cops and robbers.
I've seen this in a movie once where they've displayed adults as losing their child side and always
done.
I think a lot of adults need to come back to their childhood and find games again. They may have played games once in their life and they've got fond memories there. You know, even back in the 70s and 80s, people were playing games. So there must be adults out there who are just trashing games but did love them at one stage.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up too, because that's another stigma around video games, is that they're childish, or they are for children, and they are certainly not.
No, well,
The majority of it is the adult market.
It's the average age of a gamer is 32, 33.
32 or 33,
yeah, 30,
you know,
30 to 32, yeah.
And why is that? It's probably because people like me who grew up with gaming, we're still gaming.
We've all grown up. And obviously there's a market in that, and who's going to buy those games? Adults. So that's why games like Super Mario and stuff like that, when they started, they were all for children, and now that we've all grown up, they've evolved naturally, organically and stuff. So that's why these more adult games have come out to cater for a market, because they're all in there. And it's only gonna...
And there's only going to be more.
There's
only going to be
more
games like The Last of Us that are just these awesome immersive experiences that rival any blockbuster Hollywood movie. I would say better than.
Yeah. I think the games are getting into winning movie awards, or not
gaming awards.
Acting awards.
Like actors doing the mocap and stuff. Like Andy Serkis is. Yeah. You guys probably don't even know, but people that do the voice acting in games quite often do the mocap for the games as well, which is the motion capture. So they're acting it out fully in these roles. And Andy Serkis has done like 3 or 4 different games. You know, so you think he only does movies, but like as an actor, you can do. Games and movies are so similar and intertwined, and there's no reason they should be judged differently.
Pretty passionate about this. Huh?
I am passionate about it because I just hate that question. And now that I've said that, I'm going to get asked that question every day. Someone's going to put it in the comments.
I think it'd be a good point. It's just like, I don't know, do you guys go through the same thing? It'd be cool to hear what you think. Do you guys go through the same similar story? Like, I think
Does
it'd be good to hear.
Does your wife nag you?
No.
Do you...
I never said that. I never said that. Just clarify. My wife is actually very accepting.
I didn't say anyone, but are you sitting there and are you hearing that voice in the background?
I think
does she misunderstand what you do?
Because I think that's a very good topic with the gaming community.
Okay, so leave your comments in below and let us know, especially if you are on the other side of the equation and you do think that gaming is generally whatever, like a waste of time or whatever, and you've got a point of view on that you think counters some of the ones we've said. We'd love to hear it. So I think that's us for this week. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be coming back at you in another fortnight, but look out for other content that we're going to try and upload throughout the weeks, other Let's Plays or just other things that we're working on. Got some stuff in the pipeline. aside from that, please subscribe to us on YouTube if you like what you see. Have a look on Twitter and follow us there as well, because we're putting up content there too. 4NZ Gamers, and also on Facebook. You can find us there. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you have any suggestions for other topics or things you want to see in other shows, hit us up.
Peace.
But I think if we're talking about misunderstanding, why are girls? Why are they more on the other side then?
It's killing the breath, bro.
That'll be my wife. What are you guys talking about? You're not talking about me, are you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I was saying about how partners, or usually ladies,